Hello students. Today we are going to start with the third lesson of the geography of standard 9 entitled as exogenetic processes part 1. Now as the original screen appears of the screen, the very beginning you can see the various pictures are given. Even we are able to see this picture around us when we are wandering, and that is what we need to understand why the deformation of this such type of structure or such type of rocks are happen. So many landforms are formed due to the internal movements. Many processes occurring on the earth's surface also lead to the formation or degradation of landforms continuously. Now in this lesson we will be studying the exogenetic or external processes and the landforms formed by them. Now external processes occur because of the forces working on the earth's surface. Now there are many forces which are working on the face. Now what do you mean by those forces? See, external forces that includes what live load, that is changing or non-permanent force acting on a structure. For example, wind, people, snow, rain, impact forces caused by objects colliding with the structure, and friction. So these are the things which makes things happen. Now they are mainly solar energy, gravitational force, and kinetic energy associated with the moving objects on the earth's surface. Now do you know landforms formed on the earth's surface as a result of internal movements are called primary and secondary landforms. For example, continents, mountains, plateaus, plains, etc. Now because of the external processes like weathering, erosion, transportation and deposition, the primary and secondary landforms give way to the tertiary landforms. For example, valleys, sand dunes, delta, U-shaped valleys, etc. Now how it get forms? Let us see it once again. Now mountains are primary landforms because they are created by tectonic activity, right? Over the time, these mountains can be worn down by erosion to become hills. That means impact is happen. So these hills would be a secondary landform. What is primarily created by the nature, by the naturally, it is a primary one, and after giving impact of the external forces, what the structure is created, that is called as the secondary landforms. Now here the hills would be a secondary landforms. It is created by the mountains. The secondary landform occur when primary landforms are broken down, created by weathering. Weathering, what it is, a process in which rock is broken apart into smaller pieces, that is called as weathering. It can be done by water, ice. Water can sink into the cracks, freezes and then break the rocks. It is impact of heat also. It is impact of chemical, that is acid rain, which happens. It is impact of plants. Okay, due to the plants also the many things are getting distracted. So in this way, primary and secondary landforms. Now here is one example. Now here is one, you can see one rock is here. Water collects in a rock in this way. Here it is collected. Picture number 1 it is shown. Picture number 2, the water freezes and expands, it forcing cracks to widen its ditch. Now it's getting widening due to the freezing activity. In number 3 picture we can see the ice thaws, it contracts and water gets deeper into the crack. Okay, it tries to get deep and deep, and it makes its own space, and it's impacted on the rock. And 4th number we can see that it is repeated expansion and contraction causes further crack till rock splits. So it is the impact of water. Now types of weathering, this is what we are going to learn in this lesson. Look at this chart, very much easy to you to understand. This is called physical weathering. Number 1 type, physical weathering. in which the block get disintegrates. Exfoliation happens, frost weathering, and in second it is a chemical weathering. It has impact of oxidation, carbonation, hydration, and number 3 it is biological weathering. It's weathering by vegetation, weathering by animals, and weathering by humans. So this is the chart, this is the exact summary of the lesson that what we are going to learn now. Now in the current chapter there are a few pictures are given. Figure 3.1, 3.2, 3.1. See again, see this is the one number, this is number 1. Exfoliation of a dome shaped hill, how it is happened, it is called as a mechanical weathering. But second it is a block disintegration, as it is shown, block disintegration, it is the effect of mechanical weathering. Number 3 is a shattering, that is a mechanical weathering. Again 3, how the rocks it shattered, it has broken. So these are the impacts are shown on the rocks in this very picture. And now what you are asked to show, just read it carefully and understand. You need to observe it very much carefully. Again in next, what is shown here, the same thing. See the oxidation, it is a chemical weathering. Why it is happen, this figure. Then again we have biological weathering, it is done by the animals. Okay, animals, insects, what happens. And next figure that we have biological weathering. Then one big rock is there, from there one tree is rising up by breaking that rock. So biological weathering. Again it has a chemical weathering, the impact of chemical on the stone, what happens and what has made. And chemical weathering, again this is salt weathering, which has made the impact on this figure. So breaking or weakening of a rocks is a natural phenomenon, that is a natural process. It is called weathering. So this is the very first definition, that of definition of what. So what do you mean by a weathering? So kindly pay attention to this line, you need to underline this. Breaking or weakening of rocks is a natural phenomenon and it is called as weathering. So this is a definition of weathering. Now weathering can be done, it can be of 3 types. Number 1, mechanical weathering, it is called physical weathering as well, chemical and biological. So these are the 3 types. In arid climates, the mechanical weathering is dominant, while in humid climate, chemical weathering is more effective. Biological weathering occurs because of living organisms. So these are the differences between 3 that you need to keep in mind. You will notice that just as we can remove each and every outer layer of the onion, similarly in nature undergo such a process. The exposed part of the rock heats more while the inner part is comparatively cooler. As a result, the outer layer of the rock fall apart from the main rock. This is called exfoliation of the rock. Now see the figure. This is the figure of the how exfoliation happens. This is the process. Number 1, the rock surface heats up and expands. A. Then in B it shows the rock surface cools and contrasts. It is the effect of sun, moon. Then again the number C figure, the joints form in the outer part of the rocks, and in D it is shown the original rock surface, how it gets broken. It is the effect of the external forces, it is the effect of the sun, moon, climate. So there are many things which are responsible for this mechanical weathering. It mainly occurs because of the following reasons. Number 1, temperature, then second frost, then crystal growth, release of pressure and water. Now how it happens, how it hampers? The ice, the freezing, thawing. The water expands as it freezes and acts like a wedge. So this process is called ice wading, or we can say it's frosting. The release of pressure. When the pressure on rock is reduced, it causes outside rock to crack. Number 3, the growth of plants. Plant roots can pry apart and crack rocks. Animal actions. The burrowing can break apart the rock. This is of the burrowing of the animal. Many animals, they made their homes deep inside the hole of the earth, and this is what they call the burrowing processes. You can see the many big mouse, they're living below the ground by making their home. So it is the process of burrowing. Again, the abrasion, the rock particles carried by wind, water and ice near away a rock. This is what the other shape is also made. So these are the processes and the factors affecting on the mechanical weathering. Temperature. The minerals in the rocks expand because of heat and contract when temperature decreases. Now, due to such continuous contracting and expanding, tension develops in the rock particles. Each mineral reacts differently to the temperature. Some minerals expand more while others do not expand as much. Consequently, the tension formed in the rocks also increase and decrease. As a result, cracks develop in rocks and they break. In area where the diurnal range of temperature is higher, the weathering of this type is common in the hot desert. So this is the process by which it is clearly visible to you. Second number, frost. You know that the volume of the water increases when it freezes. It is a very common law. So in areas where the temperature drops below 0 degrees Celsius for quite some time, the water accumulates in the rocks and crevices. In the rock freezes, its volume increases. Now this leads to tension in the rocks and they finally shatter, as it shows the process in figure number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Number 2, crystal growth. In a rocky coast, waves hit the sea cliff. The water is alkaline. Okay, it is alkaline. Now some water droplets hit the cracks in the rocks. In this alkaline water, the soluble materials in the rock get dissolved. This leads to the formation of small holes in the rocks. You can see the formation of small holes in the rocks. It is effect of alkaline water, which is comprised of the salt. See, this is effect of the solution alkaline water. It gets stored in these holes. Because of heat, this water turns into water vapor and only crystals of alkaline materials remain in the rock. And crystals occupy more space. So this causes tension in the rock. Holes are formed in the rocks. It looks like a honeycomb. See the picture? With the help of figure it is clearly understand, and this is the process is given, how it is formed. So it is the effect of crystal growth. Number 4, we can say it is a release of pressure. It is not that tension is created in the rocks only because of temperature, freezing of water or crystallization. The outer layer of the rock exerts pressure on the inner or lower layers. When this pressure ceases to exist, the lower or inner layer get freed from the pressure, and this also leads to the weathering. In the second reason. Number 3, water. Some areas experience more rainfall than other. Hilly region, for example. In such areas, the soaking of rock water also causes weathering of some rocks like sandstone and conglomerate. So these rocks are formed because of pressure on the agglomeration of sand particles. Mud also makes sand particles come together when water penetrates such rocks. The particle gets loose and separate from the main rock. This is called the granular weathering. Now see, this is the image of granular weathering. Mud also makes the sand particles that come together, and when the water penetrates such rocks, the particle gets loose, and this has got the loose. We can say it is in the form of loose. So particle become separate from the main rock. So when water penetrates such rocks, the particles get loose and separate from the main rock. This is called the granular weathering. This is figure 3.4. It is visible clear to you. Now sometimes both temperature and water are responsible. Temperature and water are responsible for weathering. Now difference in temperature cause contraction and expansion, widening the joints or cracks in the rocks. Water accumulates in such wide joints and big blocks of rock separate from each other. This is called the block disintegration. So this is the block disintegration in the effect of the temperature and weather. There is a difference in temperature cause the contraction and expansion, widening the joints. So these are the joints. These are getting joints or the cracks in the rocks. Now water accumulates in such wide joints and big blocks of rock separate from each other, and this is after called the exfoliation and the disintegration of the block.